skip that as well. Do we have any guests of Rotarians today? To my right, down the center, past President Suzanne. Welcome, Kim. John Bates has our Rotary moment.
It's always a pleasure to be greeted by such thunderous applause. Yes. I don't have any information on any problems, health of the club, any issues that anyone aware of, or any spectacular news that anybody would want to share. We do have some birthdays, and we're going to go back a week because we missed some. Bill Sigmund, May the 24th, Drew Van Horn and Lindsay Lawton on May 30th, Shuford Abernathy, June the 3rd, Mary Texer, June the 4th, Mike Johnson, June the 5th. We got a sequence going here. I don't have anybody on the 6th. Okay. I tried to look up something on Rotary special to look at, but my June Rotarian magazine hasn't come yet, and President David really exhausted the May issue on the special meeting, and I didn't go look anywhere else because I thought there was probably a 50-50 chance that we'd skip the Rotary moment today too. But anyway, so I just have a story for you about this fella came down from the mountains and decided that he wanted a job in law enforcement, so he went down to the police department and to apply for a job, and they were interviewing him and they were asking him all sorts of things about how he would react and all this. They said, well, what would you do if you were instructed to go out and arrest your mother? Looked at him and without hesitation said, I'd call for backup.
Thank you, John. All right. Do we have any announcements out there? No announcements. All right, I've got a few things. I don't know if you recall, we made a donation for a shelter box, and Bruce has it. And if you got your email, you can actually follow our shelter box. There's a number, a shelter box number, and you can go on to Shelter Box USA and see exactly when it gets deployed and where it goes and who it goes to serve. So right now it's in waiting, but you can check that out anytime you like. Also, our club will be taking donations probably sometime in the month of July. One of our servers, Robin, raise your hand. Robin has got First Advent Christian Church of Hickory does a back to school festival on August 22nd, and they have around 100 to 150 kids, is that correct? And they provide them with back to school supplies, hygiene items, things along those lines. So if you could just mark that down, we will be collecting some items for her and for those kids. And
I thank you, and I know the community will thank you. It's a new thing we're trying out this year to kind of give back to students or kids that don't, have the ability to get all the supplies that they need. So I just want to thank you in advance.
so just put that out. If you see anything out there, see any good deals, get some paper, pencils, whatever, and we'll be bringing a box in to collect those up here next month. I want to put that on everybody's calendar. Make sure you read the message today from Cliff Moon. Week 4 has been hard at work, and they have an update in the message today on where they're at with all that and kind of what their guidelines are and where they're headed, and they'll have more details to follow, and I'm sure Susan or Cliff or anybody in their committee would be happy to answer any questions or take any suggestions that you guys have. Do you guys have anything you'd like to add to that? Or
We're going to work with you to get papers on the table to sign up for the committees for your year.
We're going to, in case you didn't hear that, we're going to have some sign-up forms so everybody can participate next year. We'll have some committee opportunities based on the strategic plan and the WIGs and the different areas that we're headed. To be somewhat similar, but be a little bit different than it's been in years past. The program of work we'll have some different committees. We're getting rid of some that haven't really been active and ramping up some that maybe have been a little overloaded in terms of the things that they have done. Also, make sure you put on your calendar June 18th. Instead of meeting during the day at noon, we're going to meet right here at night. It's going to start at 5:30. We're going to do hors d'oeuvres starting at 5:30, as well as there'll be a cash bar. There'll be a buffet served starting at 5:45. Be regular cost, be $12. We encourage everybody to bring their spouses. We want to make it a fun event, a fun evening. We will be recognizing, we'll have some of our charitable giving recipients will be here. We'll also be doing more than a dozen, I should say, Paul Harris Fellows, including 3 special board-sponsored ones. We will also have Josh Costello, who I want to mention will be tonight. Is that right, Suzanne? Tonight? Yes. At 2:42, singing, and he was the audience favorite from Rotarian Idol. If everybody could go out and give him support, he's trying to drum up support so he can continue to go do things like that in the community. But he will be here on the 18th as well. And then we'll have some special recognition as well as the Heart of Rotary and the Rotarian of the Year. So hopefully everything will be done around 7:15 or 7:30, and we certainly encourage everybody to put that on their calendars and come join us for that. Does anybody have any other announcements? All right. If not, without any further... Oh, Michael? I almost forgot you. How was South Africa?
Where? Oh, yeah. Thank you, nearly President Mark.
I don't think David knows that yet. He's gone off to Brazil already.
Off, didn't he?
I know, the next 2 meetings.
I wanted to, some time ago we bought a charity trip to South Africa, and we just got back. And I was looking for a way to have it as a business write-off, so I made about 900 slides and mentioned to David that I'd like to make the presentation today with a little brief narrative of each slide. They're really good. It's like me and my wife standing in front of a rhino, that kind of thing, you know. But he told me we didn't have to do that if I brought back a banner. And since I've never gotten the banner merit badge or anything, so I brought this banner back from Cape Town, South Africa. It's a Sea Point club. They're right on the waterway. It's a small club. They were very curious about us, very nice people. My wife and I both went, so if you want to test your wife or your spouse and your 35th anniversary, drag her to a Rotary Club meeting somewhere and make her sit, okay, and listen to some doctor talking about how it's a good idea to totally legalize all recreational drugs. But anyway, but I have 2 suggestions for us, because I know we've talked about this in the past a little bit. One is it only costs like 80 Rand for the meal. It's about $6.50. It's a very diversified meal, okay? Very unusual meal, and I was going to suggest that too. So if you want to test your wife, ask if she'll go to a meeting and sit there, and the meal is a pig, okay? Now I don't mean just any pig, it's a warthog. Warthog stew. Now I'm suggesting maybe we consider warthog stew. Some of y'all been talking about how, you know, so for $6.50 you could have warthog stew here, or springbok, or any of those kinds of things. But what I brought was this. This is our banner. We traded a banner with them, and I want to give it to the club with their welcome. Yeah, it's very nice. And that's a crawdad. It's a crawdad. That's their little symbol. So, okay.
Thanks, Michael. And when you're scheduling that doctor for that program?
No, you know what? I did talk to him about coming here.
Is that the only thing you talked to him about? In our program today, we have Andrea Surratt.
Thank you, almost nearly, President Mark. I like that. So, wanted to introduce to you a really great city employee. We have a lot of them at the city, but Andrew is one of my favorite co-workers. He has such a passion for what he does. And can everybody hear me okay? I don't feel like I'm loud enough. But basically, you know Andrew because you put out your trash bin once a week, and you also know him now because you have 2 trash bins, right, or 2 larger bins. So we want to let him go through all the details for our new single stream recycling program. I bet you have a number of questions, and one of the things about Andrew is that not only is he passionate about recycling and solid waste, but he is willing to talk with folks on the phone, in person, just sort of hear their stories, answer their questions. It's probably for hours of his day, which is not easy to do with all the management that he has to go work on. But let me tell you a little bit about Andrew. So I've known him for about 5 years because he's been with the city that long, and he's been in Hickory really for the last 27 years. So that should count as almost a native, right? That's definitely a good stretch. He moved to Hickory from South Florida when he was 17, and he's an LR grad. So here's another example of a Lenore Ryan College person who got a business degree and stayed in the community. So he's married and has 2 children that attend local community colleges, and he has worked in various industries in Hickory, including the automotive industry and furniture. And he's also certainly worked with us for the last 5 years. But I hope you'll enjoy Andrew's program. He's got props over in the corner there. We're so excited to have this single stream recycling program offered out to our residents, and we just we take for granted how good I think our program is as a whole. Your junk pickup, your weekly trash, recycling, it's all there for you, yard waste, and it's a great value for what you get, for the service you get for that fee each month. So thank you for sitting through this, and Andrew's got a great presentation.
Thank you and good afternoon. I guess the snow job works. That's what I just got a fresh perspective, or I should say a great reminder, as my youngest graduated high school recently and has jumped right into classes at community college. Just getting up front and looking back at all the people who came to her graduation and looking at the love in their eyes, the investment they've made in our family for almost 3 decades, then looking at our family members who have made investments since we were born, our friends. And the reminder here for me today is I finally get to put some faces with the names. Some of you I've known quite a long time, and it was just a good reminder of how important our relationships are in our lives. They may seem insignificant at the time, but that's where our true wealth comes from, is not from our jobs, not from anything this world really has to offer, but the one who created us and those who we get to walk through this life together. So I see the friendships, and I just want to encourage each one of you to keep cultivating that and enjoy the rich fruit that comes from a well-tended relationship. We'll go way back to the beginning. In Genesis 1:15, then the Lord God took the man and placed him into the Garden of Eden to cultivate it and keep it. Well, cultivation and keeping something is very important. It matters how you do it. Well, this beautiful world that we get to enjoy, we're here to cultivate it and keep it. And those of you who garden, all of us who have relationships, those relationships that blossom, the gardens that produce the fruit, are the ones that are well cultivated. So taking that, we're getting to take care of what we've been given. So recycling, just being a part of that. Just taking the material, most of what we touch and throw away can be recycled, reused, or repurposed in another way. And there's some great organizations out there that will take things that are no longer useful to us, and they're somebody else's treasure. And I remember as a young college student, young married couple, new kids, new furniture wasn't part of it. So we actually still have some of the furniture the family gave us, and you know, I think about that almost every time we use it. It's like, wow, that stuff's really held up. And I don't feel so bad when the cat's over there scratching his claws on it. But this program, I'm really excited about it because, as you know, from your own home, but from your local businesses, it costs money to throw things away. And here we have an opportunity to throw less away. And in the private industry, I got to be a part of a recycling program that we're going to give a try. Well, that really took off, and our company was able to save $60,000 a year on waste just by recycling, and we were able to take that and turn it into a revenue stream on top of that. And I really reached out to other businesses to bring things that they didn't have a way to recycle. Said, you're coming to our facility, drop these recyclable materials off. We'll process it for you, no charge. So they were able to lessen their charges, so they weren't throwing as much away, and they were able to utilize a truck that was coming to our facility, pick up the materials that they were hauling back. So it was a real win-win. And that's where I really got my taste in this operation. Been recycling for years through the city program, long before I came to work there. And I'm really excited to see how this new single stream recycling program will work for the residents, but not only for them, but for the businesses. And if we could get our businesses participating at the same rate that our residents do, which is an average of about 80% right now, we would significantly lower the amount of garbage that we take to the landfill every day, and therefore lower cost. And you know, we would have to give the county and the state, they would have to go find other ways to seek revenue, because they wouldn't be getting paid as much for us to throw it away. The main place I'd like to send you is our City of Hickory website, and that's hickorync.gov. If you do /recycling, that'll take you right to our recycling page, and it helps you on the residential level find out what day your pickup is, because that's a little different. Not only is it every other week, but within that there's a Schedule A, which is being picked up this week, and a Schedule B. So they're opposite weeks, and the reason we've done that is it allows us to not have to invest in so many trucks. We can do the same amount of work, but with less equipment, and those trucks are shockingly expensive. But I have a map to the side here that I'd love to talk with you about after this, and answer any questions. You know, I love to meet people, I love to talk, so you know, I'll stay as long as you need me to. On your rollouts, you'll see a big bag that says attention on it, and inside that, most of you are already familiar. You know, you have a little booklet that will break down the recycling information, but I wanted to take it farther to just touch on some of what's available in the community that a lot of people are unaware of. Just how we can dispose of old medicine, prescription drugs, styrofoam. That's a real specialty, but there is a way to recycle that. So I put that in there as well. And just things available in the county. I know I heard them mention tires. The landfill will take up to 5 tires a year from a resident at no charge. After that, there's a slight fee. So, you know, we shouldn't have to be throwing things away. And there's ministries who would love to take your donations and repurpose that for someone else. Paint, you know, an old computer. If you have a question, you know, I can find you an answer. And some of the neatest things I've had to be asked about was, well, how do I recycle a car bumper? I'm like, well, what's it made of? But there's actually a way to do that. So, you know, I want to work with the local body shops, make sure they're a part of that so they're not paying to throw that away. And, you know, that's my goal. I know I grew up in a single family home. That's not correct. It was a single family home, but a self-employed home. My father owned an electrical business, and so I learned that every penny matters. And to be successful, you save during the prosperous times, not when it gets tight. So looking for ways to help businesses in the community save money. Look for the ways for residents to save money. I live on a budget. I try to, you know, squeeze the blood out of a turnip, and I want the businesses to be successful, so I want to work with each of the businesses to help them lower their trash costs, increase what they recycle, and, you know, just try to do any part to help the businesses out there be successful. So please give us a call about that. Trying to think if there's, how are we doing on time? Okay, I would definitely want to answer some questions, and does anybody have one right away? Yes, ma'am, in the back.
When you talk about businesses, like I'm one of many in a complex, we have a big trash bin. So what would you do for one of those, and then would you bring out, how would a business like that recycle when you've got all going to the same big bin stuff?
Well, currently, she was asking about a complex, like a shopping center, strip mall type setup where there's multiple businesses. Well, it depends on the situation with who's picking up your waste and how it's being picked up. Some centers have multiple dumpsters for each business. Some may have a compactor. So it's a custom program. Sometimes we can set a dumpster out there for everybody to put their material in. But so far, we're really trying to work with each business because it seems to be a custom of what they can put in there and what they can't. In those circumstances, sometimes we'll put out a number of rollouts that they can use. Because what happens, as we all know, people, oh, it's a dumpster. They just throw their trash right in it. I mean, we even have that with the little recycling bins at the house and now the rollouts. So, you know, we'll talk with each of them and customize a program for them. But recycling is definitely available for any size business.
I had a question just today about recycling medications. You mentioned that. What's the answer I give somebody that lives in the city of Hickory?
Well, actually, this HPD, any of the police departments in the other towns and cities in the county, they'll have a medication drop box on their facility that you can take it to. I know I'm familiar with HPD's headquarters. You walk in the front door, and back by the rear glass, there's a drop box right there under the wanted poster. So just walk by, make sure you're not on there, and then drop your medicines. Yes, ma'am. Yes.
You mentioned styrofoam. Can you now just put that in your recycling bin, or is it a separate?
I really pushed for that
Yeah,
because I thought it could be done, because I know how the recycling process in the single stream MRF works, but plastic bags and styrofoam are not recyclable in this program. What I recommend is on the styrofoam is just save up plenty of it to make the trip worthwhile. But there's a company down 127 and Highway 10 that will take all you can get and they'll turn it into drain field products. Their ICC is their name. Give them a call ahead of time, make sure that they're open. But I've toured their facility, and when the company I was with shut down, I started referring everybody over there to them to recycle their styrofoam.
I have a part two of that question. I sort of think you shouldn't use styrofoam, so why not, I mean, does the city promote, maybe restaurants not using those in their, particularly their takeout containers?
We don't promote it, banning it, but I mean, there's still ways of recycling it. I mean, I was able to recycle tons of it, and it's not a hard process, but it's another process to do, and most people steer away from that. The only restaurant I know that's taking any steps to recycling that is Chick-fil-A. They'll recycle their cups. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
I noticed your literature that came with the new bins said, put them 5 feet apart from the other bin. In my walk this morning, I noticed 80 to 90% of them are right beside each other. So I'm wondering what kind of problem that creates.
Well, the 5 feet, we can operate within that. We were asking for more, hoping to get a little more than we get sometimes. But our drivers are pretty good about being able to get the arm in there, in between the rollouts, to get them picked up. But it does get problematic when they're touching each other, when things are leaning against the rollout, or the rollouts right up against a mailbox or behind a car. So we try to have as much space. I have seen a garbage truck, and how they demonstrated it, they put a car through the rear packer, and it took the car inside the garbage truck. It was pretty impressive. Maybe I should put that video out there. So we try to do that just so we can protect not only our equipment, but your personal property as well. Yes, sir.
And the information is said for those items like computers and so forth, you can take them to the blah, 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 blah place. I don't know where that blah, blah, blah place is.
Well, the Blackburn landfill, they have a...
Where is that?
Out in the country. It's down 321 to exit 37, which is Highway 10, and it's about 1.5 miles once you get off that exit. There's signs to the landfill. You'll pass the new Target, I say new, the Target Distribution Center. It's in that vicinity. But there's other organizations that can take that. If you can hold the material, at LP Franz Stadium, we'll have a household hazardous waste event the first Saturday of November. This year it'll be November 7th. You can just bring it through. You can bring your batteries. Residents can bring their fluorescent tubes. But like the compact fluorescent bulbs, Home Depot and Lowe's will take those back. You just have to look in their customer service area. Your plastic bags, take those back to your grocery store, to Lowe's Hardware, Home Depot. I mean, they see me coming. I'm like, where do you want them? Because I'll usually save up a big bag. And so, working on this program for the last almost 3 years, I've been experimenting. And in a family of 4, we've been able to easily reduce our trash by 50%. And Monday, June 1st, was our first pickup on the Monday A route. And unofficial numbers are that we doubled the tonnage that we normally pick up. So we're looking forward, after we get a couple of months down the road, to see the trend. Really hoping to see our recycling numbers just going through the roof, and our trash taking the corresponding dive. Okay. I'm not sure who was first.
Question.
If I could, sorry.
Go ahead.
The cardboard?
Yes.
It says to cut it flat. Well, by the time I cut my cardboard flat, it almost filled up the dumpster. Are they still picking up the big pieces of big boxes and stuff, or is that being eliminated?
Well, they'll pick it up if it's outside your rollout.
Yeah, that's what I mean, yeah.
but your cardboard wasn't being recycled unless we knew about it ahead of time.
Okay.
Our junk trucks would have come by and picked that up, and it would have been thrown away. And that was one of the reasons we're really excited about this program, was we knew there was a lot of tonnage of cardboard that was being thrown away that could easily be recycled from the curb. And one thing I did, I wanted to give everybody one at first, but you know, I know there's some home businesses out there, or generators, a lot of recyclables. You know, please give me a call and we'll talk about how to further your recycling program, and that may be an additional bin. But my goal is to reduce the number of trash cans you have. I know some homes have 2. With this recycling program, I'm hoping you can eliminate one of your solid waste fees, and so you'll use one trash rollout, which is green, and your blue rollout, which is blue for recycling. So
I live in Alexander County. What do they offer? Who is your counterpart there?
well, not when everything got tight a few years ago, a lot of places stopped the recycling program because it is a cost, it is an expense. But I would call the city, the town office, and find out what they're doing. They may have a drop-off center. I mean, you're pretty close. You know, we have a couple drop-off centers not far from here in Hickory, so you know, we'll take that material as well.
Oh, okay.
Well, I just had a question. Once the customer recycles, you basically pick up, it goes to the MRF center, and I guess there it's sorted.
Mm-hmm.
Once you sort to the product level, some brings back more than others. But what do you find that most people are recycling that they shouldn't be recycling? Because I know y'all have to take another load to Blackburn Dump.
Well, we work with Republic, and they, which was GDS, they upgraded their MRF, the materials recovery facility, and one of the things we hope to learn from the implementation of the county's program was batteries. That was one of the biggest contaminations. People were putting batteries in the recycling, which they are recyclable, just not through the program. So that was one of the reasons I put that on the very top of our list of no-nos. So that's that and plastic bags, because the plastic bags get in the machines, and it is a nightmare to shut the machines down, to untangle all of that by hand.
You know, I've probably gotten at least 10 phone calls from Tom Lundy asking how we can eliminate plastic bags from the grocery industry. And it's not going to happen because of cost.
Right.
It's just it's so much cheaper for a plastic bag opposed to a paper bag. But you know, even though my wife's going to carry a bag, or she takes a recycling bag, which I encourage.
Well, I mean, there's, you know, being a wise steward, you know, I looked into the plastic bag because, you know, states have banned them and all of that, but they're recyclable. They use less resources to manufacture, and, you know, it's as much as I try to manage my budget, and I don't want you guys having to buy more expensive stuff, so I have to pay more for my groceries just because of a bag that's already recyclable. So we can recycle the plastic bags, we can recycle the paper bags. I mean, we just need to make the effort to do so. So that's my stand on that, and I got a lot of flack from that before.
It makes a great Trex flooring.
Real quick, I don't want to make you guys late to work. I'll talk all day, like I said. So, yes, sir.
Are those plastic bags accepted at the drop-off centers?
Not at our drop-off centers. I mean, you're going back to the grocery store, so as you're walking in, just drop them off. That's why I recommend, instead of trying for us to create another process and man hours and using equipment to take it to where exactly where you would have to go anyway. So I recommend just taking them back to the store where you got them. A couple more questions. I think Mr. Moon was first. Now I'll take you
I
next.
just want to, well, a question and a quick comment. One, the question is, they can call you from any of these types of questions?
That or our website
Or the
is
website,
full of
yeah.
information.
Okay. And so I wanted to just comment when we started this, because I was this week, that I really thought the city did a great job with the materials explaining things that you got out. They were very visually appealing, they were clear and very easy to read. So I just appreciated what came in. So.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, sir.
You said there was a cost associated with recycling, and that was why Alexander County stopped.
Well,
Does this program cost the city money, or do we offset the cost of the recycling product?
Well, there is a cost to the program, and to be honest, we fully expected going into this program, as we crunched the numbers, that we would bring that back in-house. And Republic, they're not dumb, they're pretty smart. They didn't want to lose the business that was generated by the city of Hickory. So they came in with extremely sharp pencils, and we were just pennies off. And so that's the reason we chose to contract with them again to pick up our recyclables at the residential level at your curbside. So there is a monthly cost that we pay to them, though we are saving $5,000 a month versus what we were paying, and we are also getting a refund for the materials, so that'll offset the cost even further.
So does the city break even on this program?
80%. So,
So you don't break even?
no, sir.
It's 80%. Last question.
Kill the recycling program completely.
How do you kill it?
I said, no, if somebody came up with it, where they would kill the recycling program completely, how much would it cost us to have all of that stuff taken to the dump?
Well, before the economic downturn, we were taking, that's commercial and residential mix, and that's just what the city of Hickory was servicing. That didn't include any other waste providers. We were taking over 25,000 tons of material to the landfill. So you multiply that by $33 a ton, that adds up to a significant number.
So when we, the 20%, the cost, it costs us to collect, to recycle, but it saves us a whole lot of money in dump fees.
It does.
Well, make sure you make that point, because people, we're wasting money by recycling. We're not, we're saving money by recycling.
Right, and we tried to do that at our council presentations, and those numbers, I can talk in detail about that. That opens up a whole different line of discussion, and I just want to try and get the main points out there, but I'd be more than happy to go through that at another time venue. But it is a significant savings, and as a resident before I worked for the city of Hickory, I'd like, man, that solid waste fee's gone up again. And well, when I went to work for the city and actually got to see how much more service that we get to enjoy here in this community versus other communities across the state, and even if that service is provided in other communities, how much they have to pay for it, no thank you. I'm glad to pay that $16.50 a month. So I'll be over here, so if you have time and have any more questions, please feel free to come over. I'd love to talk with you more. Thank you.
On behalf of the club, coin, Paul Harris coin with the four-way rotary test in the back. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Great program. Do you drive your wife crazy with recycling, or is she on board with you?
She's on board. My kids are the ones that are like, really, Dad? That's what.
And do you have a mini drop-off place in your backyard for all these different things? So thank you very much. Let's go. Dan, are you bringing the raffle up? All right. We got Dan Kirby's doing the raffle for us today. Please remember coins in the Alzheimer's research buckets, online makeup instructions in the spoke. David, I hope you're enjoying Brazil. I'm sure he's going to look this up when he gets there, so say hello to David in Brazil. And like to thank Kim for joining us today. We appreciate it. Oh, we got a couple stuff. There we go. What do we got? We got 9 cards left, no jokers. We took in $115 today for a grand total of $3,493. And the winning number, 921391. Last 3 digits, 391.
Avery's table? It's amazing how many times that table ends up.
Oh, there we go.
I've been in the club, I'm close to 30 years, and we started this when Richard Grapple was a board member in 1995. Started this business. I participate probably close to 100%.
You've got it.
I've only
391.
been pulled one time, and it was Bob Schoffer. He had a funeral, and he put his name on the back. So really, so that just to show you that I'm unlucky.
3 lines.
Or I'm not making
There you go, Tom. Remember, we've got tomorrow or next week at noon, and then the following week at 5:30 here at the same location. Please join me. Please stand and join me with the 4-way test. Of all the things we think, say, and do,
they're all concerned. Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will be beneficial to all concerned. Good seeing you. Thanks for sitting with me.